Alright, everybody, welcome to Chapter 10. Alright, I'm thinking Chapter 10 is where the book kind of starts to go really wrong. You know, there have been issues in the past, but we've been able to solve them. But what you're going to do in Chapter 10 is you're going to make a couple new scenes. So if I go to my scenes folder, you're going to make a game over scene, hey, what happens if I win the game scene, a splash screen, and a title screen. And those are relatively easy. But then you're going to make a UI that has hearts and how many coins collected, and then whenever your player takes damage, the hearts are going to start losing red, and then whenever you collect coins, the coin amount is going to go up. And that's where we run into issues. So like if I hit play, now if I move, you can see how this is flipping because I've got it mounted to the main camera. But if I take my HUD and move it off the main camera, gotta turn that off. HUD off the main camera, then the HUD doesn't follow you. But the HUD still works. I wonder what happened there. Let's try that again. Whoa. Alright, let me put that back on the main camera so I can show you this. Why do I keep doing that? Stop. HUD, main camera. Alright, so if I get... what the... Alright, so I move my player over. I gotta figure out what that is. But when my player falls, he gets hit, and then you see the heart start to disappear. He's got his immunity time, gets hit again, immunity time, hit again, and let me get out of there. But there's an issue with the coins. Let me move my player over. Player. Alright, why is player all linked over there? That's odd. It's like I'm on the main camera. But anyway, I digress. Alright. So if I move him up and he gets a coin now, the coin goes right through him. And he does not get any... the coin score thing doesn't work. But if we look at our player, and I look at how many coins collected down here, watch this. Wow, I hope if I actually got those. Alright, great. Now the coin collected's not even working. Before it was working a little bit. And the sprite here is HUD sprite. And if I change the value to 24 and then play, you can see it works. So as long as collected pops up, that works. So if I go to player and coins collected, type in 24 and then hit play, now that links. But for some reason the coins aren't registering when they touch me. There's also issues with the scripts, so let's jump into this and see what we're getting into. Alright, so this is where I left off at the end of Chapter 9. I had my stuff all moving. That all nice and worked. Had my slimes and I had my coins that actually got picked up by the player. So now you can see that the player got 6 and now he's got 7. So the coin part is working. My enemy UI is working. I'm taking damage. I'm being invulnerable. Popping coins. Everything's good. Alright, now let's start Chapter 10. Alright, Chapter 10 starts talking off about the native GUI and then the GUI skin. But they don't really show you how to get there. Like if you look at page 196, so figure 10.1, it shows you a default GUI skin, but it doesn't tell you how to get there. If you hit Assets, Create, GUI Skin, that'll pop up. And then if you click on that little window there with the question mark, you'll bring up this window. And then you'll find out, hey, this is what this does. So what the GUI skin does, it allows you to set, hey, all the sliders are going to look like this, and all the labels are going to look like this. So it allows you to create styles for all the different elements of your GUI. All right, and then unless I'm missing something, it just discusses all the different options: toggle control, grid selection, GUI layouts, automatic fix, but it doesn't tell you to do anything with anything. It just says, look at these. We've covered this information, blah blah blah. Let's start from the beginning. So then they tell you to create a splash screen on page 198. So I'm going to kill these two that I just made. And if you did that, they should show up under assets. Really? All right, good. All right, so yeah, I was on assets, and that's when I did asset, create GUI skin. So obviously they were created there. So then I got rid of them. All right, so this part you should only have one scene in there. And that's our level, which is first underscore level. Then they tell you, hey, create a new scene using Control N. So I'll hit Control N, and I'll get away. So I need to save my changes. Oh. And now I'm on my new scene. And you can see how it says Untitled up here at the top of the screen. Alright, then it says create an empty game object, and you can hit Control-Shift-N, and that'll create a game object, or you can hit Game Object, Create Empty, however you want to do it. And then from the inspector, rename this Splash Screen. So we're going to call it Splash Screen. And make sure it's transformed or set to all zeros. Bloop, bloop, bloop. All zeros. And then from the project menu, open the backgrounds folder, which we don't have because we didn't import the assets. So let me go import the assets. Now be careful, you don't want all the animations again because we've already made the slime move and that move. We want the backgrounds. You can take the font. Here's the GUI skin, but he never really has us create those, so I'm going to import that as well. And then these prefabs, these are prefabs we've already done. The fly movement, the trigger spawn, I'm going to get rid of that. And these are all scripts that we've already done. So the only thing you need to import are the backgrounds, the fonts, and we'll take the GUI and import that. Okay. Alright, so again, I'm on page 199. I'm on step 4. So we want to go to the background folder. And then he says take the MDK background and drag it in the hierarchy. So boom, dragged in the hierarchy. And then move both the main camera and background under the splash screen game object. So we're going to take the main camera, move it to splash screen. We're going to take the background, move it to splash screen. Hooray! And if that all worked, that's going to be your splash screen. And of course I'm going to check it out. Hooray! Made with Kenny! Alright, I'm all set. Alright, next on page 199 they want us to create a script. They want us to create the script under the GUI folder and call it splash screen delayed. And this script is going to make the splash screen stay up there for just a little bit and give them the player the option to hit any key to get past it. And if they don't get past it, manually, then it'll go away after a few seconds. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to go to GUI, right click, create, C# script, and we're going to call this script splash screen delayed. Alright, and splash screen delayed. Boom. Alright, then I'm going to open this baby up. Alright, and then I'm just going to type in what's on page 199. Alright, so here's my script at the end of page 99, or probably 199. Now, two things you're going to notice. The first, I didn't include the debug commands, and that was because as I was going through this to test this out, I was not putting in the debug commands. So I can't really do it now because I haven't created the log file and stuff yet. So you're going to see all my scripts not have the debug. You want to put that stuff in there because as I'm finding out now, it's like, oh, I sure would have helped a lot. But I was hoping or assuming that the book would be accurate, but sadly I was mistaken. Alright, the second thing you're going to notice is I have an issue here with the scene that they want me to load. They want me to load scene level 1. The problem is there is no scene level 1. So if I save this, file, save, minimize, you see now, boom, I got all these errors that are popping up. They're saying, hey, this doesn't exist in the current thing, and it's all line 16. So if I go look, That's line 16, and I was typically when you see red, there's an issue. So scene level 1 doesn't exist. He's never named it scene level 1. It's never been in his stuff. I have no idea where he got that name from, but we're going to name that. Just go to your scene file, and it should just be first underscore level with the first initial or first letter capitalized and then the first letter capitalized. So let's go back to that and change that. First underscore level, and let that soak in, and then file, save, minimize, clear. Oh, I'm still getting the issues. No, I'm shaking my fist. Alright, so without my debug, I'm kind of like, oh crap, what do I do now? Would have been nice if I'd had that little debug in there to kind of show me some stuff. But in this case, obviously, I'm getting the red here at constants. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab application load level. And then I'm going to do Unity space paste. And load that. And then here's an example, so application load level, and then I can just put the level with the quotation marks. So let's see if that works. So if I go first level, quotation mark, get rid of all that, quotation mark, save, and then clear. Alright, I'm all fixed. So remember, if you're scripting and you run into issues, remember, number one, always check the script to see if you haven't made a mistake. And then if you get in the case of that where it doesn't like the word, it'd say this word's missing, and you know that the code is right because this is a pretty small script, you want to go online and look that up and figure out what's going on. Now, he never mentions why he was doing that, using the constants to scene level. He does mention why he was doing the coroutines in the note on page 200. So I'm assuming that we're okay without that, and that this would load the first level or whatever you name that first level that you're working on. All right, so with this part we're good. We're jumping over to page 200. Save the script and attach it to the game object. So we've already saved our script. Good. Waiting for it to close. Come on, close. Alright, so we put that screen under GUI, and they want us to attach it to the splash screen game object. So we have to go to the splash screen game object, add component, script, and we're looking for, crap, what was the name of that? Oh, splash screen. Splash screen delayed. And then delay time is 5. So that way now we can change our delay time if we want to. Alright, then we also need to save the scene. So file, save scene as, and we're going to go to the scene folder, and we're going to call this one splash underscore screen. And save it. And now if I go to my scenes folder, there's my splash screen. And there's level 1, splash screen, level 1. You get the idea. I obviously need another beer, but moving on. Alright, so page 200, now title screen. So make a new scene. So remember what the shortcut was for making a new scene? Control N. So Control N, got me a new scene. Alright, from the project browser, open the backgrounds folder, select the title screen background. So background folder, and title screen background, and drag it to the hierarchy, and make certain its transforms are all 0. So 0, 0, 0. Hooray, I'm all good. Alright, move the title screen image under the main camera. Alright, it says move that under the main camera, as we did with the splash screen. We didn't move the splash screen underneath there. We created a game object. So this is where I get confused. In the first one, he had us create a game object and then attach the main camera and the image to the game object. And in this one, we didn't create a game object. We just created the camera. All right, select drag this on the hierarchy, make sure it's vibrant. Yeah, so he does not, on page 200, create a game object and name it title screen. This guy's killing me. All right, so move the title screen on the camera. We're good. All right, from the scripts folder, create a new script called title screen and attach it to the main camera. So now we go to the script folder. Create a new script, and we're going to call this one title screen script. That's right. And we're going to attach it to the main camera. So if I go to main camera, add component, script, title screen script. Double click and open the script and adjust its contents to what's down below. So where's title screen? Wait for it. Boom. Alright, now I'm going to type this in real quick. Alright, so here I got it freshly loaded in. So remember when I took you to the Unity documentation and we looked at all the different GUI options. So these options all affect, the beginning area and then the vertical end it. So this just shows you, hey, what's going to be on the screen and what values and what styles we're going to use. Alright, so after that's done, I don't see any red. That's good. Close that. And I do have an error, so I need to go back and check that out. Alright, my error is on line 17. GUI dot skin. Oh, and then change it to skin quality. How did that happen? That was odd. Maybe that was an update. Maybe it updated my code for me. So GUI.skin equals skin, and that's under the void GUI, or on GUI. Alright, let's try that. I'm going to move that over here to the left and clear. And it's gone. So yeah, I have no idea how I typed that in, but again, you never know where your eyes are looking or what you're typing in. So just be careful about that. Make sure before and when you're done with each script, go and hit the clear button and see if you have any errors. And if you don't, then you're good. Then you can close it out. Because I almost always on the very first time have an error with my script. Alright, so then after that they say save it as title screen. So file, save scene as, go to your scene folder, and we're going to call that title underscore screen, and save. Alright, and then we're going to make the game over screen. So to make the game over screen, we're going to create a new scene by using the shortcut, and the shortcut is what? Control N. And then find the game over background under the background folder. And once again, make sure it's transforms or 000 and drag it into the scene. So I need game over background. Make sure it's transforms or 000. We're all good. And then I imagine they want us to attach it to the camera again, even though he doesn't say that. He just says, once again, check this. Create a new script in the scripts folder called game over script. So now I go to the script folder, right click, create, new script, and this one's going to be called game over script. Make sure you're very accurate with your names when you're following through a book like this. Because again, when we access these scripts and do different things, the names have to be perfect. So they have to be capitalized where they're capitalized and not capitalized where they're not capitalized, underscored where they're underscored, so that they can be called correctly. Otherwise, you can kind of screw everything up. Alright, so then I got to type in all the stuff on page 201 and 202, and then I'm good. Alright, let me pause this. Alright, so I left some of the comments in here. So obviously it goes back to our skin, so the game's over, something's triggered, the game over script opens up, they get the game over screen, and then this skin kind of directs it to what size it's going to be and that kind of stuff, and then they get options. They get a button for retry, restart, and quit. So pretty simple. So if I hit clear, I'm not seeing any issues. Hooray! So I can close that one down. And then it says save the scene as game over. Now it doesn't say to attach it, but we obviously we're assuming we want to attach that to main camera just like we did with the other one. So just to be sure, I'm going to hit file, or actually I'm just going to go back and look. On page 200 it says attach the script to the main camera, so I'm assuming this one they want us to attach the script to the main camera. So I'm going to go to main camera, and I'm going to add a component, script, and we want game over. Now we're all set. Now I can do File, Save Scene As, and save it as, in the scene folder, game underscore over. And save. And I'm good. Alright, now we move on to the game win screen. Hooray! Alright, so create a new scene. Control N. Find the game win background. Game win. Pop it on the screen. Make sure it's on 000. That's correct. And then I'm assuming we want to attach that to the camera. Write a new script called game wins. Open it up and attach it. Alright, so let's do that. I'll do that real quick. So same thing as the game ends script, you know, some stuff to kind of say, hey, this is how big I want the overlay to be, where I want things positioned, and then give them options. Hey, you have option you won, you have option to restart the game, or you have an option to quit. And then it kills the GUI afterward, depending on what they pressed. So pretty self-explanatory. Make sure I saved it, didn't change anything. Hit clear, no errors. Yay! It's a Christmas miracle. Alright, and then, so that's there. Now I need to attach that to the camera. So add, script, game win. And then I want to do File, Save Scene As, and game, go to the scene folder. Ooh, almost screwed that up again. And game underscore win. Save that baby. Woohoo! And I'm actually I'm done with page 203. And now we're going to be on the HUD 204. Oh yeah. Alright, so open scene 10. So did we save that? Yeah, so the name is still here, so we're good. So File, open scene, and we want to open our main scene, which is the first level. And I'm going to move that over there. Alright, create a new game object. Hooray! So create a new empty game object. So game object, create empty, and then name it HUD. HUD. Alright, so we made our game object, set the transform to 0, 25, and 0. And, oh, dope. I'm gonna tag this just so I can see where it is. Ah, come on, really? Oh, that's going way up there. So why we have it up there, I have no idea. But for craps and giggles, I'm going to move it. Where I can see it. That's definitely way too high. So I'm just going to move it there so I can kind of keep an eye on it. Alright, so I got my HUD. So that's number 3. This will be right above our level. No, it doesn't. Crappy kids. Alright, so create a new camera by going to create game object camera. So game object, or duh. So actually we can do it that way. So game object camera, and then we're going to place it under the HUD game object. So camera now becomes part of HUD. Set the transform values for the camera to 8. This is probably going to funk it all up. 5. And -10. That is one big frickin' camera. And then next, under the camera component, change the clear flags to depth only. So clear flags, we want depth only. And what a nice preview we have there. And set the culling mask to UI. Culling mask to nothing, and then put it just to UI. Alright, if you don't have a layer called UI, which I do, obviously because I've already played with this, just go into layers, layers, edit layers, and make a UI layer. And if you don't have one, just pop one in there. Actually, you want a sorting layer. No, you just want a regular layer, and name it UI, and you'll be fine. Now, something that they don't tell you here, and I don't understand why, because this doesn't make any sense. I mean, you can see my preview, and my camera just looks like it's crazy. and it's showing everything. Change the projection to orthographic, and I don't know if that used to be a default, and now it's not, and that's where the issue is. But now we're not all set, so now you can see it's kind of like camera size. I'm also going to zoom this in a little bit. I'm going to put my camera right on my HUD. So whatever my HUD size is, or yeah, so 16, 10, and 0. I want to get how's that even match? I have no idea, but I'm just going to leave it there so that they all line up. Alright, now from the project window, prefabs, find the HUD coin. So HUD underscore coin. Drag it in the scene. So I'm going to drag that one there. And where'd that little sucker go? Of course, way up to the top. I'm going to move it down here. Remember, between lines, I can scroll down. Because I know they're going to, okay, then drag the HUD, place it under the HUD group. So he's going to be part of the HUD. So for the transform position, don't worry about that too much. Just go to the camera and put it on the top right. And then we're going to put the other thing on the left. Alright, do the same for the HUD sprite prefab. So now I need the HUD sprite. Now, there is no HUD sprite prefab because we got it from a sheet. So they start at like, you know, HUD sprite 0, HUD sprite 1, HUD sprite 2, HUD sprite 3, HUD sprite 4. So what we want is we want HUD sprite 4. That's the one we want to drag into the scene. So I'm going to drag that into the scene and try to make it align a little bit better. There. And again, you always check your camera, just check the angle to where the HUD's going to be. Alright, so drag that into the HUD, sets values to blah blah blah. This will place it right. Alright, next we need to present the player's health. And now we want to go to the prefab folder and look for HUD heart full. So HUD underscore heart, and there it is. Now we're going to place it in the hierarchy. Then we're going to do another one. And then we're going to do another one. And where's my camera at? So I kind of see and line these up. Ugh, that's really bad. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And line those up like that. I'm going to back out. Check my camera, good. So that's what. So that way, like my 3 hearts will be on the left and that kind of thing. So I'm all set. And now my screen looks like it does at the bottom of page 205. Now, if you want, you can click on the hearts, and I can say like, hey, I'm going to put this guy at 6. So then I'm going to put the next one, the next heart, at 6.5. That's actually not. That's too much. Let's say I put it. That's too little. How about 6.7? So I added 7 to that. And then this one, so 6.7 plus 7. And then that kind of lines them up perfectly. And you can also check to make sure that they're at the same Y value, 14, 14.26, and then 14.26 and 14.20. Ooh, that's off a hair. And now they line up perfectly. Alright, then you need to put the hearts under the HUD prefab. So I'm going to grab the hearts, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to drag them under the HUD. And then that's that guy, and he needs to be under the HUD. And I'm going to put him there. So now I have I have the hearts, and you can rename these. So I can do, you know, Heartful 1, Heartful. Didn't I just do? Oh, I did Heartful. I'm just going to do Whole Heart 1, hit enter. I'm going to make this 2, enter, and this guy's going to be 3, enter, just so I can kind of keep track of them. So I know this is heart 1, 2, and 3, and as my health goes down, my health will go down from 3, 2 to 1. And then this one is actually going to be, it says HUD Sprite Sheet 4, but remember when we put it on there, it was supposed to be, I believe, HUD_Sprite. Let me see if I can find that real quick. So on page 205, oh, HUD coin, yeah, then HUD Sprite. So this was actually supposed to be HUD_Sprite. Yeah, and it was all lowercase, HUD_. So it's all lowercase, HUD Sprite, enter. So now I have it just as it does in the book. So I have HUD coin, HUD Sprite, and then I have the 3 hearts. And that way I can kind of keep everything nice and organized. Now, with game objects, it's a little bit easier, and you can change the names around a little bit, because remember, we typically focus on the tag, or we write a script and then we drag the game object into the script. So because of that, the name of the exact name of the game object isn't as important. Just make sure your tags and your script names are correct. That's the focus. Alright, so now moving on, I'm on page 206. And before I do that, just to make sure everything's working, I just want to make sure I can still collect coins. Yeah, so you see how the coins are stopping, they're going into my player, and if I click on player, I need to move him down to the bottom too, so I can kind of keep an eye on that. Alright, let's watch his coins collected down here. You can see like the coin collected went to 1. And now he's got 6, so everything's working fine up to this point. Alright, so now I'm on page 206. Alright, create a new script called Coin Counter. With the script selected, drag it to the HUD Sprite, and double click open it, and then there's a huge script that's 2 pages long. So, at this point I'm going to pause the video, and then I'm going to create the Coin Counter script, and then I will come back. Alright, so I'm back. I got the script in. So we got a couple variables, and then we get a whole bunch of stuff. And what the script does is it allows us to grab all the different sprites for the numbers and change them depending on what the number is. So if we got 24 coins, it'll grab the 2 and the 4. So I'm going to minimize that. Move over here, hit clear. I don't have any errors. Ray! Close that. Alright. So with the script selected, drag it and attach it to the HUD Sprite. So we're going to go to HUD Sprite, and you don't have to drag it. We could drag it, or you can just do add component, script, coin counter, and pop that in there. And then double click and open it. So we want to go to the sprite digits. Now it's going to have a size. Hold on, I'm on page 208. So it's going to have a size of 10, and that's going to pop the sprites in. So then you want to go back to your prefabs, and where's the core or the numbers at? What was that under? Oh, sprites. Duh. Alright, why you guys let me do stupid stuff? Sprite HUD. So you want to drag the 0, and then drag the 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now to check it, type in value and type in 24, and then hit say or hit play. Sure, that would have worked better if I had moved the HUD down. I'm going to move the HUD down. So I can actually see it in my scene. And now hit play and see if it says 24. And see if you're okay with where the spacing is. And if you're not, go back to HUD Sprite, and I think I like 0.3 better. Yeah, that looks a lot better to me. But if you like it, it can be, again, that's the space between the different sprites. So I like that, so 0.3 is good for me. So I'm all good for that. Alright, then I'm going to grab my HUD, move him back up so he doesn't interfere with anything. Then I'm going to go back to my player, or I'm sorry, the sprite, and I want to make that 0. I want my player to start at 0. Enter. Now, just to see if that's working yet, I shouldn't have moved it. What did I do? Why do you guys let me do stupid stuff? Alright, so that's probably okay. Got a hair out. Okay. I'm going to go to HUD, and I want to move that so I can still see it. Get nice and close. And I want to grab a coin to see if it's working yet. Well, the coin part's still working, so that's good. So they're not going through me or anything. But they're still not showing up there. So hopefully we'll fix that here in just a little bit. But anytime you make a sprite and you pop it in, you'll always want to test your stuff to make sure nothing else, did it break anything else? Is it, is that part working? That kind of stuff. Alright, for the coin counter script, we use an array to have all the different sprites in the array, and then we call the different sprites depending on what our number is. If our number is 24, the array calls, element, 3 and element 4. Because remember, or I'm sorry, element 3, because that would be 2. Remember, an array always starts at element 0. So there's 0, 1, 2. So if I wanted 2, I would call element 3, because it's 0, 1, 2. Anyway, and then for our hearts, we're going to do a case statement. So now we're going to create a new script called GUI. So again, I'm on the bottom of page 208. Create a new script called GUI game. So let me go create that, and then again, showing on page 209. Be right back. Alright, so here's the GUI game script, and again, it's just a case statement. If I get hit once, do these 3 hearts, and then if I get hit twice, do these 3 hearts, and if I get hit this, these 3 hearts. So, what first heart empty, 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 obviously I'm dead. Half empty, empty, I'm almost dead. And then full, 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 I'm at full health. So as long as my health is 6, show me 3 full healths. If my health goes down to 5 because I took 1 damage, give me half a heart and 2 full hearts. So that one's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to close that. And then they say from the hierarchy view, from the HUD camera, attach the new script. So we want to go to HUD camera. And actually, I need to rename this to HUD _ camera. And then we want to attach the script. Alright, so script, and that was game GUI. And then there's the game GUI. Alright, open the GUI, adjust it so it's listing. Alright, save your script. Alright, so then we need to populate that script. So we need to go find the hearts again, and we need to populate this. So I need to go back down here and make sure my heart 1, 2, and 3 are showing. Don't click on them, because if I click on them, then they'll go away. So go back to the camera. So I need to say, hey, heart 1 is going to be heart 1, heart 2 is going to be heart 2, and heart 3 is going to be heart 3. And then I need to do the sprite full, empty, and half. So if I go back to sprites, HUD. Alright, first I need a full heart. Then I need a half a heart. And then I need an empty heart. Where's that little, oh, duh. Right there. Alright, so that takes care of page 210, I believe. So at this point, theoretically, our HUD should be good, but it's not working yet because we haven't attached it to the player or the player script. So now I'm on page 211, and they have us go to the player stats. So if I go back to scripts and player stats, open that up, they have us do some modifications. Now for this one, I'm going to have you guys kind of follow through. So I'm at the top, so they have us make 2 new classes. So private game object HUD camera, and then same thing. HUD sprite. Alright, so that's good. And then he goes back down to void start. And in void start, underneath the sprite renderer, he puts in 2 things. And those 2 things are right here. HUD camera, HUD sprite. So find anything with the tag HUD camera or HUD sprite. If you got the tag HUD camera, you're going to be HUD camera, and if you got the tag HUD sprite, you're going to be HUD sprite. We haven't made those tags yet, and nowhere in the book or in that chapter does he tell us to make those tags. It's like, oh, I just want to grab them and Anyway, so let me finish the rest of the script. You're going to go to not take damage, coin collected, and you're going to add this line. And you're going to link it to the coin counter. Ah. And then he goes under take damage. Did I pass that one? Oh, there it is. So take damage. And this one goes under this one. So this health equals this health, blah, 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 blah. And then this HUD camera. And I think that's it. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 lines you got to add. We added 1, 2, 3, 4, and where's the other 2? Oh, down here start 5, 6. All right, so we're good. So then I'm on page 212, and we're all theoretically done. I'm going to save this. Then I'm going to clear, see if I have any issues, and I don't. And then theoretically, if I hit play, for some reason I got 2 audio listeners and everything's all funked up. So let's go and make our tags. Let's go in, so tags. So we're going to add a new tag because that's not there. And we're going to call this tag HUD camera. And then we're going to add another tag and call this one HUD sprite. Alright, then we're going to go to HUD sprite and give it the tag HUD sprite. And we'll go to HUD camera and give the tag HUD camera and see if that doesn't solve our issue. Does it play? Alright, hey, so now it's not turning around, but it's also not following my player either. Let's see if it tracks coins. And it does. Hooray! Alright, so now it tracks coins, we're all good. Let's see if it tracks health. Oh, and yes it does. So now you're semi good. Now he says, and that's it, we now have a fully functional HUD that will sit on top of our game camera. So what I'm assuming is he wants us to take HUD and move, so take your game off. So we want to put HUD on top of the main camera. And where's main camera? So that's bigger. So we want to move our HUD. You know what? I should just get that. Alright. So close. Alright, HUD down a little bit. Oh, no, it's our main camera. Nope. Not close enough. Alright, not quite. I don't have that. I need that one. That. What the? I'm really flunking this up. Alright, now I got main camera. And, oh, so the HUD moves that. Let me just make sure the HUD's not flipping. Oh, it does! No, I don't want to flip. So we can't attach the HUD to the player. I funked something up really bad. But other than that, coin still working. Yep. So I got a couple things I'll need to smooth out. I think at this point, the HUD's not supposed to be following our player. But if I look at page 212, it says, and that's it, we now have a fully functional HUD, which the HUD works, it's functional, that will sit on top of our game camera. But it doesn't necessarily work like that. So I'll have to figure out why that's not moving. And if any of you guys have any ideas, or if you guys know the answer, if you would let me know, that would be great. It'd save me a lot of time. So that's the last issue we need to solve, and then we can kind of move on to Chapter 11, applying effects. And Chapter 11 is kind of cool because now we get to add some neat special effects. So at this point, just make sure you get through Chapter 10. Hopefully one of you guys can figure this out, or else I'll figure it out, one of the two. But you know, here we are in week 11. Remember, in week 16, this has to be done. It has to be a working level. You know, you should be able to go in. There's a title screen. Then I hit play, and then it takes me to your level. Your level, everything needs to work. Your coin boxes need to change appearances. The coins need to come out. Your guy needs to collect the coins. The HUD needs to display the coins. He needs to take damage. The enemies need to move. All that stuff. So that's your exam grade, and I think that's about 30% of your grade. So if you fail that and you don't turn one in and you're already way behind, you want to start on it now because that's going to greatly affect your grade. So I'm going to end the video here. If I find a solution for that, I'll probably either do a supplemental video or I'll add it to next week's video. Depends on how soon I fix that issue. But other than that, again, if you guys have any other questions, make sure you let me know. But at this point, make sure your HUD at least is functioning. Your coins are counted, and your hearts go down when you take damage. All right, folks, see you later.